I'm going to throw the commentary to you guys, but first, let's hear from one of our players who has been eliminated already. He is disowned.
Okay, so for all the European players still left, Psycho and Nudge, I'd say Psycho needs to keep forcing Glacier Knights. He's doing that excellently, and obviously the build's not overpowered at all.
Oh, disowned. Just keep putting those four Marines in to counter the Glacier Knights. Oh, Nudge.
It just kind of shows you the relationship that these players have with each other.
Yeah.
And being able to joke around, but also have respect for one another at the end of the day. And of course, Nudge having to play for his life right now. Seiko in a little bit better of a position, so maybe he can take some of that advice from Disowned, if it is advice, quote unquote. But getting into the fourth game of the group here, the fourth and final game. Looking at Seiko with a 2-star Water Spirit, round 4. Also, would be cool to see if Lucky has already decided to go with her patented open fort. Just a quick check over on Lucky's board, and of course we do have the exact same thing. Maybe playing it a little bit differently, and possibly looking at players going open fort into it. We don't see anybody else going open fort into her open fort just yet. Nudge, of course, beating Lucky.
I see Nudge has got a, well, he's picked up a couple of things. He's maybe got a warrior start right now. Maybe thinking of a beast warrior, which has been quite successful for players so far. He looks like he's going to we'll see how he does. I think he ends up losing just ever so slightly.
You were going to say he was going to win that.
Yeah, I was thinking he was close.
Taking a look at the items though, Lucky with a very good start. However, those items aren't necessarily Night Glacier specific, right? That's 3/4 of a refresher orb, along with a a cloak as well as the shield there. Nothing really for giving extra damage to Lightblade Knight. So yeah. It's just kind of hindering to play the same build over and over, no matter what items you get, no matter what anybody else is doing, right? So it would be interesting to see if she ends up getting what she needs this game. Taking a look over at Kong here, two Phantom Queens early. It's actually a really good start, starting unit, but then you want to switch out of it
unless you're going Assassins for sure, and Assassins have not been that good this tournament.
Yeah, don't get baited into that. That's just bait.
I mean, Seiko got no items, by the way, over the first 3 rounds, which I have to ask. I thought that there was a clause in item generation where if you killed 5 units, 5 neutral creeps without getting an item, you were guaranteed an item. I'm just wondering if that's just not in the PC version.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Well, it feels bad for Seiko because he's got 0 items to start off with, although he is still at 100%, so he must be doing something right with the units that he's got, and indeed that 2-star Water Spirit early on. Is he thinking about Assassins right now? That's the question. He's got that...
No, he's not. He's got the Winter Cairo Terran on the board, on the bench, so that's giving me hope that he's not going for Assassins.
He's going to take a note of our Japanese and South Korean players' books.
I'm sure he's going to take the Flaming Wizard, right? Picked up the Skybreaker.
I think he'll take the other Skybreaker and the Flaming Wizard here, right?
Picks up the Ripper. Interesting to actually watch his entire turn, of course. So I would say if he wins this, he picks up the Flaming Wizard. Yeah. Flaming Wizard is arguably a better unit than the Phantom Queen early game. It's almost along the same lines of Dwarf Sniper.
Yeah.
Right? It's just one of those units that you can do a lot of damage with. And yeah, there you go. So he waits until he actually wins the round to get that 3rd gold to buy it. But I think just having that in it instead of the Phantom Queen would have been a better option overall. And it could potentially beat somebody else on their board, which can put him into a middling situation instead. So there are currently 2 other 100%ers going into round 6. Land is still finishing his match. And I see the swords battling each other. And he does go 100% now as well into round 7. So there's 3 people, 100% round 7.
Wow, it's a pretty good high roll lobby for these guys. A 2-star Skybreaker picked up for Seiko. Even with no items, he's in a pretty strong position. I would love to see Nudge this game manage his early economy a lot better, because something that has been a fault of Nudge from what we've seen so far is that he ends up with the lowest gold generation by round 15 out of any player in this lobby, which is really hitting him way too hard when it comes to early game gold generation. There we go. This is what I wanted to see. Sell off the board that you have no intention of using, and he does indeed do that.
Yeah, Philip playing that game of chicken here and not pulling Lucky.
He's
Lucky
ruined it for
pulled
Lucky
Philip
again.
Yeah.
But Philip's got no way of qualifying, right? So maybe he's just done this because
He's had to play against this
all the time,
the whole
right?
tournament.
The whole tournament,
yeah,
right?
he's played against Lucky
he's
this entire
probably just said, I've had enough, and he's ruined it. He's ruined it for Lucky again. And
He's got a little smirk on his face. I mean, he's feeling pretty good about it.
I mean, why not, right? If you've been thwarted by the open fort Glacier strategy over and over again, and he's even going Glacier Knights himself, by the way. He's even open forting into Glacier Knights himself.
Well, now he's got the upper hand over Lucky. The only thing is he's got to be careful that he doesn't pull Lucky on his board.
Yeah.
Of course. But at this point, I would kind of be interested to see how Lucky's playing this, if she's actually going to throw some units onto the board. So she doesn't, but she's close to a 3-star.
She's got a little smile on her face. She realizes that she's been sabotaged.
She's been griefed.
Yeah, she's been
griefed. That's the word. Griefed.
She's been griefed pretty heavily. She has almost got a 3-star Frost Knight, though, by the way.
Yeah. Look at these two. They're playing against each other right now.
Yeah. They're having a little battle versus each other.
Yeah. I'm surprised neither of them has used the in-game chat there just to put a little smiley or something along those lines. But taking a look at the win streaks, five or three.
Oh,
three people with
Philip drew Lucky,
5.
by the way. Philip's lost his lose streak, and he drew Lucky as well. So they basically sabotaged each other.
We knew it was going to happen,
yeah.
right? Both of them doing that, we knew it was going to happen.
Do you remember when I said that the best case, or sorry, the average scenario for a double open forte is they literally sabotage each other? That's basically what's happened this game.
Yeah, and they know it. And that's like, yeah. That's exactly what we thought was going to happen. Early Dragon with land. I don't think this is going to go 100% into round 10. I feel like this is a bit of a weak composition up against Archdevil, though. He's
pretty strong. They've got a pretty strong...
I think Archdevil's pretty strong in this one. A few 2-stars. This is going to be very close. I think having 3 people 100%ing into round 10 would be insane.
Yeah, I think Land's definitely lost his position there. Kong, however, does not. Something that is massively underrated and probably what has got Land to this position so far.
Land actually...
No, he
lost.
I was
going to say.
If that Venom 1v9,
yeah, I was gonna say.
It's like, wow. But Venom's ult is actually really, really strong, and some people kind of massively underestimate it, but it's got great single target damage. So playing Dragon with Venom early on can be pretty powerful.
Seiko, 100%, 10 gold, also has early Dragon Knight, Dragon Mages.
Look at those Skybreakers as well. I mean, Seiko, if he's looking to secure himself a spot in the final, he's looking pretty good to do so.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what he needs, of course, and he's got to be feeling pretty good about it. Also, Land is the other player that we really need to keep an eye on. He's the one that's on the bubble. He's in 4th position right now, so he needs to have a good game to kind of solidify himself, not leave things up to RNG or matchmaking or tie-breaking and placements and all these random things that can possibly knock him out as well. But right now, looking to probably switch into Dragon Mages with some Cave Clan Warrior frontline. Not a bad build if he starts picking up that, 2-star Swordman or something along those lines.
But remember, Archdevil, Seiko, and Kong are already the ones that are in top positions. So if they end up getting top 3 again, that essentially shuts out a lot of the lobby's potential to even come back in this game. And Nudge is one of those players that even definitely needs first.
Well, I think, honestly, if Seiko, Kong, and Archdevil go 1, 2, 3 this game, it allows them the opportunity to get into that 4th place much more, because Land being on the cusp is the only one that would fall out, and the players that are unreachable maintain to be unreachable or continue to be unreachable.
I believe Nudge is on 7 points right now. So if he were to get first, he would get 16, and I believe Land is on 14. So Land would have to literally do 6th or worse to even tie break with Nudge, and Lucky would need to do 5th or worse to tiebreak with Nudge because 4th is 5 points. No, she'd need to do 4th or worse to if Nudge got 1st, of course. So
yeah, and that's I mean, not that uncommon for that to happen.
No, of course. I mean, Lucky's not in a great spot right now. Land is okay though. Land is in a good spot. He would have to essentially drop pretty heavily in the mid game to put himself in a spot where Nudge even had a chance of qualifying. And Nudge would actually have to turn his game around. Although his economy is good, his HP total is dropping a little bit right now.
I don't know. I think there's an opening here. Yeah. I really do. I honestly think there's an opening if Land doesn't. Honestly, all eyes are on Land right now. If the top 3 do well again, it's gonna emphasize that even more because they're taking points away from the other players that can actually take it instead. However, taking a look at Kong here, also going Dragon Mages, we see quite a few Dragon Mage players. Has a pair of 2-star God of Wars already, which is really, really good.
And he's up to 40 economy. He's 100%, as is Seiko. 2 100%ers in this game. It does mean in general when you have 2 100%ers in a single game, you generally tend to beat down the lower part of the lobby pretty heavily in terms of HP totals. So
yeah, especially if they are open forwarding into not lose streaking.
Yes.
Right, open forwarding into middling with 200% players is disastrous for those players that didn't keep the streaks.
But we'll see how it goes. Lucky is at that 3-star Frost Knight now. She has indeed got the 3-star Frost Knight going. We'll see if she can make her Glacier Knight build work. Something that has, we have kind of criticized her about is this inflexibility, and it does seem like she's put herself in a position where she does need to get a lot of things to go right for her to come out on top and actually qualify for the finals.
Yeah, I mean, not even. I think she is going to beat Sweet Pea here, but just I would be interested to see where she even put those magic crystals. Okay, I called it wrong now.
Frost Knight is a bad,
page out of your book.
It's a bad unit. Look at the. I don't know if they can hover over and see the actual attack damage of Frost Knight, but it's bad. It's like bad for a 3-star unit. I don't actually know where you hover on the PC version to find out. Maybe over the avatar itself. Yeah, okay. It's 190. That's quite low for a 3-star unit. And then he has to actually stack up his ultimate to further increase that damage.
I know. I agree with you. I always used to make the meme that
I'm not lecturing
a 3-star Frost Knight was a waste of 8 gold. Because that's 8 gold that you don't need to spend on him for the synergies that he's really there to provide.
It's not 9 gold.
No, but you need him for at least the synergy. You need at least 1 gold on him.
Oh, I've got you. Right. I thought you were saying like it's like 8 gold. Yeah, it's 8 gold further than the single gold to get the Frost Knight. Got it. Now I'm on board with you.
Got it. Okay.
Don't, I wasn't lecturing you, Clay. I was just
I know.
Spouting rubbish.
Spouting rubbish. I like it.
Nudge is unfortunately struggling here in this game. He's got a good economy this time round, but his HP total is taking a beating because of it, and he's tied on HP right now with Lucky.
Yeah, several players looking at Dragon Mages here, including Nudge. Nudge just hoping to find his wings. Finds a pair there, picks up a 2-star Dragon Mage, and now is close to 6 mages, just needs a couple more, or just basically 1 more mage to complete the 6 mage. However, doesn't have a Dragon Knight, and is playing Dragon Mages, which is not really how you play Dragon Knights, Dragon Mages.
But you do need the Dragon Knight to make this build work. He has got the Spirit bonus, which if he gets lucky should help him beat this Wolf round pretty easily, and I think he's going to get away with it here quite nicely. So he'll get through the Wolf round, which can be quite uncertain when you're playing Mage comps in general. These neutral rounds, they can be quite difficult to deal with.
Yeah, Lucky not having any problems here.
Oh, she got refresh on.
Yeah, she was only 1 away from it.
Yeah.
I would say a lot of these players in this lobby, if they get 3/4 of a refresher orb round 3, they would instantly start looking at mages. And I think that narrow-mindedness might be hurting her.
Yeah, because there aren't many good targets for a refresh orb in Glacier Knights. Like I've talked about before, I kind of like it on Desperate Doctor if you get him to 3-star. I quite like it on a 2-star fortune teller because it gives you 8 seconds of immunity for 2 units most of the time.
Yeah. So surprisingly, with that being said, Lucky though is rolling her knights.
Yeah.
She's actually very close and also healthy-ish and economized to a point where she could actually still make this work even with the loss of the lose streak against Philip. But taking a look at Nudge here, getting his mages off, of course the Thunder Spirit with that massive AoE damage. Of course, we talked about it a couple times, the Water Spirit being kind of underrated maybe a little bit coming into the tournament, but being used by several players in many different rounds in several different countries, doing very well.
Philip's got a pretty good start to his Glacier Knight comp here as well. He's got the 2-star Lightblade, the 2-star Hell Knight, still running with the Soulbreaker there as well, just leveling up where he can. Nudge actually rolled down pretty extensively, I guess, to find some upgrades and some units for his 6 mages. He is just waiting on either a Tortola. Well, it can only be a Tortola at level 7, but at level 8 could indeed be the God of Thunder. And then he'll have that 6 mages activated. He also needs the Dragon Knight to, as Clay said, activate his Dragon composition properly.
Yeah, Archdevil in a little bit of a situation here.
Yeah, he very quickly dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he's going 6 warriors, 2 beasts. He does need to start finding that poisonous worm to get a little bit more of that backline damage in. Possibly a berserker, of course, but 45 gold, 41% HP, taking heavy damage against Kong right now is going to put him into a little bit of a situation where he needs to start spending that gold at 28% HP just to kind of protect that a little bit more. And he does have a 1-star Red Axe Chief in play right now. So rolling down as he goes, finds himself Pirate Captain pair there.
Doesn't need to roll down too far to get some of the units that he needs.
Yeah, not bad. 40 gold still. Picked up several upgrades.
He's pretty close to making this comp work for him. He just needs to hit a couple little extra upgrades. That Pirate Captain 2, the Doom 2 would be nice as well.
We did see him pick up a Razor Claw last round in order to farm the gold from the Unicorn, but then he sold the Razor Claw. However, in a Beast Warrior comp, Razor Claw is actually a very crucial unit for him, so I'm not sure if that was just like a force of habit sale.
It is if you're looking to go for 4 beasts, right? But there are Beast Warrior comps that run only 2 beasts. If you want to fit Marine in as well, you usually only go 2 beasts, and there are so many mages in this lobby that you definitely want Marine in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from there, but would you rather have a 2-star Red Axe Chief than a 2-star Razor Claw?
I'd rather have a Razor Claw over a Tusk Champion. Because unless you're looking to 3-star the Tusk Champion, which he looks like he is.
That's true too. I mean, he does have 6 warriors though, so that could potentially...
Red Axe can be pretty underrated. His taunt is actually pretty solid at level 3.
Yeah, level 3, I agree with that, and I think just having the option to go Razor Claw would be smart.
Yeah, a level 3 Razor Claw is pretty insane, so I agree with you on that front.
And he's at 16% HP, 51 gold, greeting into round 20. Of course, this is one of our players that is
pretty much already qualified.
Was he was number 1?
He was number 2. He's out.
He's out.
He's literally just out.
Yeah. Round 19. Greeted it.
So the only people that can catch him right now are technically Lucky and Land, because he's on 19 points.
No, Land is at 14 points.
Yeah,
Land is good.
No. Land's position is up for grabs.
Right.
So Archdevil was tied with Seiko at 19 points.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Seiko is basically guaranteed second from this point forward. Archdevil, the only people that can catch him would be Land. If Land positions well and Lucky does not get first, Lucky cannot catch Archdevil. So this is now really down to, I would say, Land and Lucky and Nudge, depending on where people place.
So you're saying Archdevil actually could be pushed out of this entire tournament?
Archdevil literally cannot get out of 4th. The worst Archdevil can place is 4th, I think, from this point forward.
I think it's definitely messing things up a bit. It's definitely making some things interesting.
It's making 4th place more interesting.
Okay.
No, it doesn't, actually. It makes 4th place less interesting. So basically, it almost guarantees land 4th place.
Yeah.
So that means that Lucky and Nudge essentially have almost no way to make it out right now.
Right, because Land had to have gotten 8th, no points. Now he's guaranteed points, so he's going to move up.
No, Land needed minimum...
Where is our statistics?
Where is our statistic, man? Land needed basically 6th. So as long as Land gets above 6th, he's okay.
It's just, let's just say, it's for me, it's too close to call.
Yeah, it's too close to call.
There's a lot of things that can happen.
Let's not get bogged down in it, because otherwise it's going to detract from where we are. And detracting from Lucky having a 3-star Hell Knight. End up still losing here to Nudge, who's found a 2-star Tortola, by the way. That's a good position for Nudge to be in with a 6 mage comp.
Yeah, and as we see now that he might still have a chance. Lucky with that 3-star Hell Knight, also some pretty decent items on that with the Heaven's Gift. Of course, the Refresher Orb on Desperate Doctor. If she is able to get that Desperate Doctor to 3-star, eventually a little bit later on down the road, that would be an extremely good option.
Yes, of
for
course.
That Orb of Refresh that we kind of talked about going into the game.
Of course. And really, it's there is a 2-horse race between her and Land right now, like we talked about. So keep your eyes on the positions of Lucky and Land. Land is 4 points ahead of Lucky right now. So it could be a close race for that 4th position now that Archdevil is out.
Yeah, Nudge kind of just saving up those water spirits right now. And up against Lucky, a huge 2-star Tortola ultimate straight through the Knights, but is going to get taken out by Lucky this time on his side. Take a little bit more damage here, dropping him down to 32%. Sweet Pea down to 4% HP with 33 gold left over. I would imagine that he's going to start spending that. Also, Beast Warrior, as we see a couple players running Beast
Kong
Warrior.
finally lost, by the way, the first loss of the entire game. 95% HP right now.
And that was to Nudge and his 2-star Tortola Elder, of course, in the mages.
I'd like to see where Land is. Land is really interesting to me because he is, again, one of the contenders for that final spot in this lobby. Sweet Pea is obviously playing a very janky Beast Warrior build right now, and this could be a rough matchup for him versus that 3-star Hell Knight. Of Philip as well. Philip also on a 3-star Hell Knight.
Yeah, Lightblade Knight for Philip, stacked up with 2 Frantic Masks. However, at 10 gold, 25% HP, I do think Lucky's in a better position right now currently with the amount of gold left over and the amount of units that she actually has. Not going necessarily for a 3-star Lightblade Knight just yet, or maybe she hasn't found any extra ones so far.
Yeah.
Possibly because Philip has gotten those already. And that is one thing to be aware of, maybe on Lucky's side, passing over those Lightblade Knights because you know Philip already has a 3-star. And Philip passing over the Hell Knights because you know Lucky already has
Philip's already got a 3-star Hell Knight.
Philip has a 3-star Hell Knight as well?
Yeah. No. Okay, no, you're right. 3-star Lightblade Knight.
Yeah, they both have one of each.
Yeah. I think you don't pass it up when you're playing Knights anyway. Nudge has got the Dark Spirit in his comp, by the way, in an attempt to try and beat these Knight players, but you can see Lucky just running through them right now.
Yeah, Sweet Pea here with the Beast Warrior build. Looks like this is going to be it for Sweet Pea, taking 7th. So, again, with the rankings, I'm not sure. I think there's so much math going on right now that
he had very little chance to qualify anyway.
Yeah, I know,
so, yeah.
but it does affect the other players still because we know now that they can get a little bit more points.
Basically, Land needs to position above 6th, and he guarantees qualification almost.
Above 6. 6th or above, or above 6?
Above 6th. He can't get 6th.
So just one more needs to come out. Okay,
it's something like that. I'm gonna a little bit more. Okay, a little bit more. Lucky's on 10 points and Land is on 14. So Lucky could get 1st place, and she could then tie 19 points with the rest of the...
With Archdevil.
With Archdevil. It's crazy. There's a lot of stuff that can go on right now.
We do have our statistics man back here crunching the numbers, trying to give us some information, but also maybe withholding some information because it makes things a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in it. I don't want to get bogged down in it because there is a lot that can happen this game. We are definitely not set for our top 4 Seiko in a great position. Kong also in a great position. They look pretty solid. Archdevil will be hitting himself because he has now at least thrown his position into contention. But yeah, let's not get bogged down and let's take a look at where Nudge is right now with his build. Did he just sell off all of those water spirits? He was 1 water spirit away from a 3-star water spirit.
No, he actually had 6 water spirits.
Ah, okay.
He didn't make them together because he knew that he was probably going to end up selling them, which I think is the correct option. He does have 2 dark spirits on his bench already at level 8, which is very lucky on his end, but ties 2 Tortola Elders at the same time, as you like to call them, the Kamehamehas. Kamehamehas. Back and forth between Nudge and Seiko, leaving a nice little crystal ball there for us to look at. Philip with the 3-star Lightblade Knight. A little interesting positioning here for the Knight's Glacier, not really protecting the Lightblade Knight.
He actually only needs 2 Hell Knights to find himself an egged 3-star Hell Knight, which would be great for him. It's something to look at. Kong with a 3-star God of War. Great front line. Has got the God bonus, but obviously has been prevented from activating because there is indeed Dragon and Human. What else? You have the Spirit bonus there as well. Lots of things preventing that from fully activating, but he has got almost 6 mages to work with right now too.
Well, he has a mage on the bench, which is the Flaming Wizard.
Yeah. But
he instead values the Water Spirit.
I don't think that's the right call.
I don't think that's the right call either.
Oh, Nudge is out.
Yeah, Nudge is going to be out here, and so almost sure that will be it for Nudge WK in this tournament. I think he had not necessarily the best cards thrown his way, but did pretty much the best he could with what was given to him. Philip now in 5th position, 25% HP. Land not too far behind, 35% HP, tied with Seiko, or very closely tied, 36, 39, and then Kong, the lone leader.
I'd like to check in on Land because Land is obviously one of those guys contending for the top spot, and I believe 4th minimum would guarantee him. That would guarantee him a tiebreaker, right? No matter what happens, it would guarantee him a tiebreaker. So he is looking to try and get 4th in this situation here, but he hasn't got the strongest build versus these very heavy Glacier Knight builds coming out from both Lucky and Philip. And if he were to get 5th, that would throw him up in the air, and his fate would be essentially
based on Lucky.
Based on Lucky. His fate would be based on where Lucky positions.
He is taking some massive damage here. 11, dropping him down to 24%. Kong actually losing his to Philip, not by too much. Kong also already very, very high in points already. However, Lucky looking like she's leveling up to 9 on her board and throwing in the... She's running... Yeah, 2nd Desperate Doctor there, looks like. So, again, we talked about the 3-star Desperate Doctor being very important for her. Of course, she does have the Berserker 2-star, which if she had that as a defector instead, throwing in the Storm Shaman level 9 would be extremely good, especially against these 2, possibly 3 mage players, if I'm not mistaken.
The 3 mage players left in the lobby.
Yeah, so that would be great for her, and possibly transitioning into that as well would be something to think about for sure.
So Desperate Doctor has an added bonus against mage players that it can actually prevent the Tortola Elder channeling. If you get the stun off, so her adding 2 gives her 2 chances at hitting a Tortola Elder with the Desperate Doctor stun, which would stop it from channeling its ultimate and dealing the maximum amount of damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a good way of dealing with it. And then she could even, if she wanted to at level 9, find a way of fitting in Marine, or find a way of going for the Storm Shaman, which she could use the egg for if she really wanted to.
Yeah, I think she's in an interesting situation right now because she can either go Marine, or she ends up egging the... Oh gosh. So she had 10 out of 9 on the board. It dropped the Lightblade Knight back. Of course, she's still going to win it, no problem.
Yeah.
But she's deciding, I think, to go with the Storm Shaman instead of going up to level 10 and throwing in the Marine bonus.
Land is in a pretty rough spot right now because if he's to get this position right here, he's got a 3-star God of War. This is definitely going to help him along his way, but he's not in the best position ever He's actually doesn't have 6 mage. Oh, he's playing 3 mages. This massively reduces the damage output of his composition. Massively reduces the damage output of his composition.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough for him because this is putting him in dire situation if he goes out this round up against the #1 player in the lobby. Both of the 2-star or 3-star God of Wars here. Again, the Tortola Elders in the corner. Ghost Ship comes in, has a huge stun, but the Tortola Elder lands a very nice ultimate, but this is going to be it. Oh, a massive Tortola Elder ultimate to keep him in the game. Just barely at the very end there, 6% HP, but he's still on the chopping block. He is not very strong, and I'm pretty sure he loses to almost every single player in this lobby right now.
I think there is very few matchups that he wins as a 3-mage player. 3-mage is not strong outside of gods for a reason. Its magic damage reduction is lower than it used to be. People play 6 mages because it had a buff rather than a nerf. And yeah, I think Land is in a rough spot right now. He doesn't even have a 2-star pirate captain to kick things off. Remember, if Lucky can indeed get herself first, that is potentially qualifying for her. That is potentially qualifying, and she's going up against Land here. She shouldn't have too much issue going up against him with the caliber of comp that she's got right now. Although I say that, it's a little bit closer than you would have thought.
Looking fine, but Land is actually going to go out here at 5th, leaving the door wide open for Lucky to clutch this one out. She does still have quite a bit of work to go between Psycho, Philip, and Kong still in the match. Philip with his Knights taking those away from Lucky. However, Lucky's got a 3-star Lightblade Knight, 3-star Hell Knight, if I'm not mistaken. No, she doesn't have her 3-star Lightblade Knight, but she is putting in the Tsunami Stalker. Now she has the decision if she wants to actually switch in Marine eventually once she gets another Siren, or keep the Storm Shaman. I would say in this situation, I would probably put in the Marine instead because she doesn't have
the Shaman bonus.
Shaman bonus and Defector, correct.
Oh, there's a lot of damage going on to her comp right now from Seiko. Seiko still has to deal with that 3-star Tortola Elder, that 3-star Hell Knight, which is one of the main carries versus mage compositions.
The Hell Knight is not going down, but it is going to take a final Tortola Elder ultimate to the face, and Lucky's going to take 4 damage here. Loses that massive 9 win streak that she had going on, but is going to be enough to take the #1 spot over here. Now, all players at level 10 with the exception of Philip. However, he, again, is that other Night Glacier player.
So Kong and Seiko have guaranteed qualification here, so it doesn't matter where they place.
And Philip is
out anyway,
out, yeah.
So Philip is pretty much out 100%. If Lucky gets first, she gets qualification. She beats Land and she gets qualification.
And look at what she's done. She's actually made a 2nd Storm Shaman, sold the Desperate Doctor that had it, the refresh.
Yeah.
And I think that is an extremely smart move of her
it absolutely is
to make right now.
And she's at level 10, and she looks so good to potentially get first place here.
5,000 damage between those 2 Storm Shaman ultimates. She is showing that she's got what it takes.
If she gets second, she tie breaks with Land. If she's first, she wins and goes through. And I have seen the Open 4 Glacier Knight qualify 2 rounds now, which has been insane. Even when her Open 4 got sabotaged in 2 games, she's brought herself into a position where she is tenably taking a top 3 spot away. This is quite the story for Lucky, who has played the same strategy now for 7 games in a row.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, and there's so many different things that have happened, and she's just played around it. That's it. We do see that Philip went against Lucky last round there, but lost by 8. That just shows you how strong that Storm Shaman ultimate was.
See if anything gets picked up here. Seiko's actually got Mjolnir here because he's got the Wraith Shard, but it's Mjolnir on the Dragon Knight and a Dragon Knight composition. Sorry, Dragon Mage composition. I wouldn't say it's the strongest thing in the world. He has now picked up God of Thunder, which may give him some potential outs versus the competition right now. We'll have to see. He's also very close to, oh, there he is, a 3-star Winter Karok Terran, which is going to help him as a bit more of a frontline tank. It'll also give him a shorter cooldown on that ability to allow him to keep some of his units safer.
Yeah, he's also got an egg in the shop, which he can buy to potentially get that God of Thunder to 2-star as well. Hell Knight 3-star with a Heart of Tarask for Philip. He is also just barely hanging on, 7% HP. All players now fully rolled down to basically 0 gold, which is always exciting to see. Up against Seiko, though, of course, Lucky is looking to have Philip knocked out here as quick as possible. And
he's just about squeezing
he's hanging
through.
On. Yeah, he's going to be just fine. Kong, on the other hand, not fine up against Philip, is going to take about 6 damage there, putting him down to 8%. Lucky is looking at this and feeling very, very confident right now. Of course, her matchup against, I think, all players is really nice because she does counter the mages. She also counters the other knight player as well. So, I mean, is there anything that can happen where she doesn't win this? Is there possible
I think Philip's
upgrades?
in an okay spot. I think God of Thunder can sometimes sneak through the... I mean, God of Thunder 2 now for Kong. They can sometimes sneak through the Night Shields if you get it positioned quite like... I have no idea why you've decided to put your God of Thunder out by himself, but it is what it is. I'm interested in seeing Lucky versus the Philip matchup, because I think that's the one that we're going to be looking at for the rest of this game.
Yeah, this might be it, though, for Philip, as long as that Hell Knight goes down, but it just doesn't die. Switching over to Kong here, he's just fine against Lucky. Lucky beating Philip with almost no problems.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, seven units left on the board still.
Well, that's a 3-star Desperate Doctor for Philip here. He's picked up another 3-star that might help him out. There is a level advantage for Lucky, remember, but Philip does indeed have the Shaman bonus activated because he's running the Defector over the Berserker right now. This is a really tight lobby. I think everybody has a chance of winning right now. And a 2-star... oh, is that a refresh orb on Philip's Storm Shaman too?
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely. So, honestly, Philip putting himself in a position right here where he's got a lot of room, and you see that happening right now.
Oh, that was insane. Philip going up against the other side of the coin. He might be okay here. It's going to be very close with this Lightblade Knight, the Frantic Masks. I think he's going to be fine. He should be able to take out that God of War that does not have the God bonus, so it will attack very slowly.
Yeah, excellent call on that prediction, Ex-Scoundrel. Very proud. That Lightblade Knight, of course, shredding through not only just the backline, but the God of War 3-star as well.
This is a crazy end of the match.
All 4 players winning their matches for the past 2 rounds at least.
It's super RNG right now because it's basically Night Shield RNG versus where the God of Thunder's hit versus a lot of different things, to be honest with you. It's basically going to come down to individual matchup RNG, and the more HP you have, the more chances you have to get it wrong, and that's why Seiko and Lucky are in good spots.
Yeah, there's not much that Philip can really roll for here, so he's probably just scouting out the opponent's positioning and trying to match that up as best as he possibly can. Now, here he is up against Lucky, the #1 player in the lobby, and also the player that has a chance to go on. Very, very similar builds here. Lightblade Knight trying to shred through the backline to give himself enough HP to stay in this game, and it looks like he's actually going to be just fine here, keeping that HP, 7%.
Lucky took a big hit. Lucky took a big hit versus Kong in the last round. That's what I mean about God of Thunder. Sometimes it can just wipe out everything, and that can be difficult to deal with. Seiko's in a good spot. Kong's still in a continued win streak right now. This is so tense. I cannot believe we are in this situation where any one of these players could genuinely take first, and it really comes down to those individual matchups after we get through this Glacier round. The Glacier items are going to be insane too.
Not only can any player take first, but depending on who takes first means
massive
potentially $450,000
yeah.
for somebody, right? So there's...
I think she's out!
Is this going to be enough? She is at 3rd place. I think that's going to be enough to kick her out, but I'm not quite sure how the point systems are going to shake out.
I'm certain. She's not in, Land is in. I'm pretty certain that's the way it is. She needed 2nd to get at least tie break with Land in this situation, I believe. I'm going to look to my stats guy.
Yeah, your EU math might be much better than mine, but
He's not going to say. He's not telling me.
It's a little too close to call here,
me.
in my opinion. There's a lot of things that happened during this round, and honestly, Lucky, what a performance. I think she made a lot of smart decisions there.
She did.
Possibly not. I mean, there's just a couple things that could have happened.
We can talk about it afterwards. We can talk about it afterwards, right?
Philip here now just destroying through Seiko, and I think Seiko is, yeah, he's gonna take it right here. So
Philip gets the win.
That was an insane final there.
Look, the only thing I can say about our top 4 in that situation is it was heavily RNG dependent on each individual matchup. There were some tech-ins that came through that were important, but realistically, it came down to, did my Knight Shields proc at the right time? And did my mages attack the Knights when their Knight Shields were down?
Yeah.
That's essentially what it was.
A little bit of Knight Shields. I would say also a little bit of positioning. With the Orb of Refresh going on to Siren, I think that was a great decision. I think she just had it in the wrong position. She had an Orb of Refresh on Siren and didn't protect it.
You don't need to frontline. You don't need to frontline a Siren when you've got an Orb of Refresh,
exactly.
right?
You wanted to have the chance and opportunity to get the ultimate off, not just once but twice. And if you do get that off, you have the potential to win.
This was such a unique story, this particular game, because Philip came in as the harbinger of doom for the strategy that Lucky was trying to bring out with it. He open forted as well. They ruined each other's economy in the early game. Yep. Philip then hard ground out.
Griefed her. He griefed her so hard.
Philip literally griefed Lucky.
I was trying to think of how to describe exactly what you're talking about. It's poetic in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like just the battle from the very beginning to the very end. It ended up working out for both of them somehow.
Yeah. Philip had better itemization, and he also had the 3-star Lightblade Knight, which gives you an edge. Yeah. The Heart of Tarask on Hell Knight is, in my opinion, the single most powerful item you can have on that unit in the late game, because he just becomes nigh on unkillable with the regeneration that he has. And that really gave Philip the edge.
Man, I mean, he even said it in his interview. He just had enough of that strategy of open forwarding into Knight's Glacier, and he knew that he wanted to come in with a different strategy around it, but I think he figured out the best strategy to beat it was to join it.
It's crazy. And it's like something that the whole lobby was more or less reacting to in a certain sense from the Dragon Knight strategy in the round before. Yeah. It's just interesting to see how that kind of develops. I have the official numbers here, but we're going to keep it dramatic. And I don't know if I'm right on this piece of paper.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I'm right, but
I honestly haven't put as much thought into it as I think Alexandro has. He thinks he has it figured out.
I think I have it figured out.
Well, we're about to let it be shown here. Let's take a look at the match results first, and then we're going to move into our final standings. Of course, and something as we look at these detailed match results, I wanted to talk about Land because he seemed like he was in a, obviously if he plays better, he makes it less nerve-wracking for himself, right? And I felt like he was pretty strong during that game, and I wanted to ask you guys, you mentioned he went 3 mage.
Yeah.
What did he what kind of went wrong for Land there? Because it certainly was a lot more nerve-wracking than it had to be for Land.
He went wrong because he went 3 mage.
Fair enough.
It is. In this meta, 3 mages is, I don't want to say it, but garbage. It actually is garbage. It needs a buff.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Drodo, it needs a buff because it's just not tenable to go 3 mages these days because Marine is so easy to tech into so many builds, and the damage just isn't there. You just don't have enough damage coming out of a 3 mage comp.
I think his thought process behind it, he did get a 2-star Venom, but here just looking at the leaders now, Lucky by 1 point, as you suspected.
Yep.
I think basically Lucky needed second.
Yes, and it would have been a tie. But I don't know how the tiebreaker would have gone.
I have no idea how the tiebreaker would have gone.
Okay, I'm hearing that she would have lost the tiebreaker.
She would have lost the tiebreaker.
She needed to win.
She needed to win.
But she had a chance there. It was what would have been the defining factor for her to really secure that win? Or was her downfall the fact that Psycho, I think it was going the same strategy?
I think if the matchup happened where Psycho went out to Philip and she got put up against Psycho, won that match, came down to 1 versus 1, her versus Philip, and she protected that Siren, she absolutely had a chance to win.
She absolutely had a chance to win. I think also, as I think her strategy obviously carried her very far, but I think it is also a testament to players that are adaptable. and can take what the game throws at them. I think I really respect her for 7 games in a row making that work, because I couldn't have done the same thing. I definitely would have tilted myself into oblivion by this point. But I think the players that have made it through to the top of our tournament here have all been incredibly adaptable. They've taken what the game's given them. They've played different builds in the right scenarios. But again, it shows you that if Lucky can get 1 point away from the final lobby for $450,000, you guys can open Fort Glacier Knight every single game and get to Queen. It's really...
For now, until the meta changes.
Until they get nerfed, which they will.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, hats off to the 8 players now that we officially know are moving on to tomorrow's matchups, and that's going to be at 3 p.m. Shanghai time. So definitely don't want to miss that. But
yeah, best of 6 tomorrow as well. So a little bit that'll be very interesting to get into. But let's reflect on the day, guys, because particularly in that last group, I feel like we had at least a player or two who really just shined, maybe above the rest. You know, I'll just mention some specific results here. Obviously, Archdevil, Kong, and Psycho, right? Psycho had the most points overall, 26. Fourth, first, second. Super solid in a semifinal lobby. Like that's got, like, for him, that's got to feel great going into the finals.
I actually have
as the Padawan of
Nudge. Yeah, I have. My personal belief is that he will get first tomorrow. I think Seiko's going to walk away with $450,000.
That would be absolutely insane, and a great story behind him as well. Such a nice guy, and if it went to anybody, I mean, he deserves it for sure. He's worked so hard to get here. He's sacrificed a lot to get here as well. But that's not to say that the other 7 players in the lobby don't also have their own deserving right to it as well. So honestly, at this point, it's going to be such a fun day, an exciting day tomorrow to see how everything starts shaking out. And I can't wait to see it just hopefully come down to the wire.